KOD Media presents the #1 late night talk show in the entire metaverse. Covering everything you need to know in the Knights realm. You're watching The Night Shift. And now, your host, JiggaManPorto and the Knights of Degen.
Special edition Monday night shift. What you doing? What's up, Knights of Degen, friends and family, and all your new community members? Guys, how could we not do a special edition Monday when we got these two ladies on standby to come in here and talk about our mentals? You know what I mean? Like, this is so exciting. First of all, for those of you that have been under a rock, all right, Knights of Degen, they opened up the Kingdom Castle doors. We allowed the Dinomonks to come in. Everybody's jumping in. But then the biggest kicker was we get to hook up with Shira, Lazar, and Jordana. Come on. Now we get to bring that whole element in here. And listen, before I even bring them on here, as usual, I went ahead and I said, hey, community, anybody have some questions you want me to ask the ladies tonight? Why is it that the submissions had to be about how I'm going to need help during my Jets season? I don't understand, all right? Listen, it's commitment. Regardless, you know what? You're right. I probably should ask them the best steps to take. I'm so excited about this. We're going to actually move What the Show tomorrow by a half hour because they're launching a Twitter space with us tomorrow, first of many collabs with Knights of Degen. We're all going to get together. But guys, I mean, it's epic, right? I mean, you've got one lady who, let's be real. She's like one of the leading female voices in all of Web3. If you haven't catched inside Web3, what are you doing? And then her co-founder, Jordana, and now they're both the whole piece inside live. Like, guys, I'm pretty sure they're backstage looking at me like, oh, we can work with this. This one right here, this alone with this guy, he needs a session and we need to calm him down. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring the ladies on. Shira, Lazar, and Jordana Reim. Hey, ladies, how are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Here. I love the night shift. I love your energy.
Oh,
So
thank you.
good.
All right, good. We're to a good start. I think we should just stop the show right here. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate your time. Well, first of all, I mean, everybody saw on Twitter, so we both got dressed. So we've already accomplished so much for this episode.
Yeah, you don't know what's below here, but yes,
I was saying we don't need to wear pants. You never need to wear pants. So
it's
there's
the
that.
new world. That's none of that. All right, camera stays up here. We're all good.
Totally.
So excited. The community has been raving about the fact that we get to do these collabs with you guys and really tie in everything you're doing with Peace Inside Live. And I think it's just such a great fit, especially for, let's be real, a bunch of Degens from the Knights of Degen, the Dinomonks community. Like, it just makes so much sense. How did you guys feel about it? I mean, we can take turns here, but how did you guys feel about the whole collab and, where this is headed?
Yeah, I think we were really excited. We've been working with the Dinomonks community for is it over a year now? I can't believe it.
Over a year, yeah.
Time has flown by, and they've done so much great work. And to see now this growth and expansion with Knights of Degen was just really exciting. I think this is how communities evolve and grow in this space. I think we're going to see more of these mergers / acquisitions, and how we can do and grow better together. And also, it's like, I think mental health and wellness should be integrated into spaces, even if it's not a mental health or wellness NFT, right? I love the fact that we're part of Knights of Degen, which is all about degening on this space, right? But then we're saying that we prioritize mental health and wellness in that. And like, that's really why we do what we do, to bring this to people that might not otherwise have access to it, or know they need it, or know how to integrate it into their lives.
Yeah. And mental fitness, which is the way in which we're bringing it about in the community, is like a Degen way of looking at mental health, because mental fitness is interrupting the status quo. It's interrupting the ways in which we are thinking that are perhaps not serving us, or we've just fallen into a perfunctory routine. And so having a Degen look on that is actually going to make our minds stronger.
Solid. So good. So Shira, I'll start with you because you have such an amazing background. I mean, before you even jumped into the NFT space and everything you did, coming into it, do you mind talking about that a little bit? How you went from that?
Here, we're hanging out. So
like, how did this happen? Like, you went from this media empire, everything you did there, and then now, like, literally leading one of the voices for females in NFTs.
I appreciate that. That was a good headline from NFT Now. Thank you, NFT Now. But yeah, no, I've always loved media, and I've been in digital media for 2 decades. So it was an easy transition into Web3. I was always bridging the gap, between Web 1 and Web 2, and now taking the leap from Web 2 to Web 3 and figuring out how to make these digital culture spaces more accessible, and also figuring out how to use media to tell the stories around the leaders and creators in the space has always been something I'm very passionate about. Oddly enough, it's actually not that brought me into this space. It was the fact that I had actually taken a step back to figure out what I wanted to do, because I'd been in what's trending and all that stuff for over a decade, and I was a bit burnt out. And that's when me and Jordana, we've been longtime friends, we started Peace Inside Live during the pandemic. And it was something, I'm a student. I wanted to learn more and practice myself. And then one of our friends who started the Edge of podcast, Josh Krieger in NFTLA, saw what we were doing and said, there's this NFT called Dinomonks, and they need support with their programming and their wellness. Like, would you be interested? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So that was actually my entryway into this space. And then, a lot of the people I'd worked with, from Gary Vaynerchuk to Britt Morin and Randy Zuckerberg and Kevin Rose, were jumping into space, and I started getting asked to do a lot of Twitter spaces. And then, like, that whole snowball effect happened. I started to collect and do everything. But really, it was Peace Inside Live, which was originally my, I say my entryway into all of it, which is wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Jordana, I mean, we were talking briefly, right, behind the scenes. And one of the biggest things, like, when you look at the website and you learn, about everybody that you have on there, like you literally like traveled everywhere, like some of the most craziest places to hone your craft. Yeah. I mean, you're even in Thailand right now. Like, I'm like, oh, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. Sure, no problem, whatever. Like, what was that? Like, was it just really about trying to get to a certain level in your craft? I mean, do you mind touching on that a bit?
Yeah, no, thanks for the question. It's an awesome question. Prior to working in meditation, mindfulness, and wellness, I was an executive producer in technology, actually. And I did that for over 10 years in New York and LA. I got to produce for Nike and Toyota, Discover Credit Card, and I was really good at it. But there was something going on with me in the background. I was also having this yoga practice, and I began a meditation practice in 2012. And when I was in my meditations, I realized actually that like there was so much more to me than what I was doing, and that I was really defining myself by my work and by what I was achieving in my work. And so I did a few interruption exercises with myself at that time. And then finally, I was able to leave that job and decided that I wanted to just figure out who I was if I wasn't defining myself by what I was doing. And in that journey, I followed my heart, and it said, I really want to travel the world. And so I just chose one destination and one intention, which was I wanted to learn and I wanted to go to India. So that's where I started. I thought I'd be gone for 3 months at that time, and I was gone for 17. In that time, I got to visit Babas, who are like old holy men in their caves, like on the side of mountains, and do meditations with them. I lived in monasteries in Nepal and actually in Thailand and India. And I began my company, 180 Retreats, which began bringing people into the Himalayas for transformation. And Shira came with me on one of those trips. So we had known each other for a while. And then in 2019, she joined me on the trip to Everest Base Camp. And that's really when our collaborations started. But I didn't do it to necessarily to hone my craft. I did it as like a journey of my own heart and discovering who I was if I didn't define myself by all of these other things, and what else is there in the world for me.
That's awesome. I mean, I had a similar journey. I went from a true Puerto Rican in the Bronx, and I wanted to try a whole new world. So I moved to North Carolina. And let me tell you, drastic change. I mean, all right, maybe not as serious as yours, but so let's talk about the company you guys have together, because, and I want to pull it up so people can see it here on the screen.
Check it out. We started it as like a virtual studio during the pandemic. We had 2 classes a day, facilitators from around the world, and we've been evolving it since then. And now we are integrating more Web3 and really doubling down into Web3 to figure out how we bring wellness to communities, custom programs on Discord, through social media, Twitter Spaces, wherever your community is, wherever they feel comfortable in. We're figuring out how to innovate wellness to bring it to you. And also, that means because this NFT space, this Web3 space also really connects and builds relationships offline too. We're at big events, as you know, across the country, around the world. So how do we take things offline in IRL and have, wellness spaces at these busy conferences too? We're going to be doing a wellness track and a space at NFT LA. So it's a mixture between virtual experiences wherever you are, offline. And also I would say the third thing is, we're going to be experimenting with this with the Knights of Degen community. How do we, gamify all of this? How do we really create a fun way to, exactly like tent poles like you would have in fitness or exercise, or different goals, hitting different goals and getting things back for that, right? And so that's something we are playing with and figuring out how to get there and innovating with the community along the way.
That's huge. And Jordana, I mean, I'll ask you, what is the meaning behind the become a peace insider? Like, I read it, I'm just like, I want to be a peace insider. What's the meaning behind that for you guys?
I think, the real meaning is that you can find peace inside wherever you are. And so it's like wherever you are physically, geographically, mentally, emotionally, whether you're in the metaverse, or you're like IRL, right? That you can find peace inside. There's always a way. And there may be a different way for each and every one of us. And what we're doing is we're trying to give the fundamentals that people can build upon and start their journeys to what peace inside means for them.
Okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot if you don't mind. All right. I know we're going to do, something tomorrow night, right? I believe we're scheduled, is it 9 p.m. Eastern, right? With the Knights of Degen and you guys tomorrow night. Could you give me maybe like a sample of, if I was joining something like this, like what am I experiencing?
Yeah, sure. So I think that for Knights of Degen, we're going to do some different things. We're talking about, mindfulness Mondays, where we'll bring in meditation. We're talking about like wild card Wednesdays, where we just try to like shift perspectives. And then Friday, mind fit challenges. So it's all sorts of different things that help us to think differently or interrupt our patterns. And mindfulness is the core of Peace Inside Live. So on Mindful Mondays, we'll be doing short meditations, which will help us to get into like the space of just being with ourselves, which already can be completely freaky, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh my God, what's happening in my mind? I teach this, and like I teach it because I'm always like, oh my God, what's happening in my mind? We start to watch our minds in meditation, right? We start to watch our minds, and at first we think like, I can't do this because there's so much happening in the mind, and actually that's everything, is to see what's happening in the mind. And once we see it and we can allow it to just be there, okay, you know what, this is happening. I'm human. Check it out. I'm a Degen. Check it out. There's stuff going on in my mind. That's the first step. And then from there, like once we're able to just, okay, like I can be with this for, a couple minutes even, then we'll go into some different prompts. And so a prompt might be, what feels, in what ways do I feel like a zombie in my life, right? How am I going through life as a zombie? What's something that I keep doing every day that actually like, I don't even like doing, and maybe there's another way to do it. And so we can bring those things as an inquiry into the meditation space because we've just allowed ourselves to be with what is. So we can slowly begin to change our minds and to find new ways of doing things that we always did that maybe don't serve us anymore. Maybe they served us at one point, but they don't now. And so we'll do things like that, and we'll do those again and again and again because it can take some time to stick, or we can have these aha moments. But we'll do things like that on Mondays, and also the Wednesdays and Fridays will help to shake it up as well.
That's so good. And don't be surprised if a lot of these Degens, especially on our free poker roll nights, start like privately trying to hit you up on Discord. Like, please help right now. Okay. I'm just
SOS.
No, for
you
real.
gotta breathe.
I think this is really important because I think the main things we talk about in this space is dealing with like FOMO, anxiety, lack of sleep, burnout. And so I think that real success and sustainability in this space means figuring out how to learn tools that support you, right? And like making it so it's not difficult. It's like but at the same time, knowing that it's not supposed to be easy. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong because you have things pop up or because you have your own way of doing it. What works for someone might not work for someone else, or someone's experience is not the same as yours. So like, we just want to get as many people on the mindfulness train, wellness train as possible so that we can do better in this space together. We're all trying to create these new worlds. We're like, F Web 2, F all these other corporate old school structures. And yet we're still like, I think, digging ourselves into a hole with how we're treating ourselves in the meantime. So like, how do we shift that? And that's like what we're here for, really.
That's awesome. So I'm guessing seems like it would really be a great way to onboard so many people from Web 2 that don't really understand this industry. Is this something that you guys see as a big onboarding piece as well for the company?
Yeah, absolutely. Like in Web3, it's this incredible opportunity beyond, I think, what we can even imagine, right? It's like a whole new world of what we can possibly create, the collaborations, the possibilities. And I think, what we want is to be building that place from a space of authenticity and kindness. And that starts with how we treat ourselves. And so really stepping into it in the most well way possible is doing it mindfully and checking in with ourselves and finding that way to be kind here so that we can be kind with one another and in how we create this new world.
I just want to give a shout out. Sir Coda says Degen's like challenges. And yeah, exactly. Like, I think that we need to be flexible to how people receive information and like to practice different things. So like that is, that's up to us. That's why we customize it. It's not like a McDonald's menu where we say like, okay, we're throwing in some meditation here, some sound healing here, and some reading here, and like you're set. We go in, and this is where we do see this as, a growing industry and a company for us, saying like every community and team gets to be treated differently, has different needs, and how do we create something that's right for you? It's like, that's what we do, as builders in this space. And then also as builders who care about community. There's no one fits all type of situation. Like, we need to be really like diving in and really understanding each other. And so once again, what works for Knights of Degen might not work for another community that we work with. And that's our challenge and what we get to look at, but it's also like a beautiful thing we get to work on together and get feedback as we go. What's working for you? What's not working for you? And once again, including in a space like this, where we're talking about people that love games, love poker, love degening. It's like, how do you take the degen culture and bring it into the wellness space? What does that even look like? Let's create that together, which is so cool and exciting.
So I'm guessing you guys have like a lot of other instructors and stuff. Are these instructors that also get spread out throughout other Discords and, these Twitter spaces? Is that kind of how you structure things now?
Yeah, Jordana, we basically have access to a lot of different facilitators everywhere around the world. We're even working with brands like Spotify, bringing facilitators, whether it be virtually to their teams or even to their offices across the Americas. And so it's really about like, one, what makes sense for what we're doing, the class, the modality, as we like to say, and who's the best fit for that. So that's basically it. But it's really, that's why we handpick whoever's going to be bringing that experience to people. But Jordana, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, we work with specialists in lots of different areas. We've got someone who does emotional freedom technique. Her name is Ginevra, and she's been studying that for years. And we love that as a modality. And then we were also working with someone who's a Chinese medicine doctor and brings like something called meridian movements into her mindfulness practices. So, it really depends. And we love finding people who are doing different things in the space so that we can try to meet the communities where they are. And we can, like Shira and I are here to listen to the communities. What do you need? What's going on? And then we have these people who we've been working with for the last 2.5 years with Peace Inside Live, who we can hand select, or even Shira and I can go into the spaces like we are right here and support.
So you mentioned that you custom build it. I'm guessing like that has to be exciting, right? Since you're doing it for so many different communities. Like, I mean, the creative side of it, saying, like you said, Shira, said it the same old, here's A, here's B, let's do the boring routine. Do you really see that bringing a lot of your creative side out by having that option?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not just creative. It's like the side of me that loves talking to people and like helping people and, the human element of it. I think that there's definitely tech that's needed that we're using, and we have aspirations to even build to make this, more fun, more interesting. How do you tokenize something? How do you gamify it? Like, there's all these elements that we know in the space. And we're definitely interested in doing that. But I think that, a lot of times we forget how powerful the human element is to this. And so I just love meeting founders of projects, meeting the community, and really hearing about like, what does wellness mean to them? And what does it mean if we bring it to their lives daily, right? And how do we work towards a goal together? How do we create some challenges? And that's what excites me. And also I love content and programming. So how do we continue that communication, whether it be from Discord to Twitter to maybe even Instagram or Twitch or wherever everyone is. Like that's what's really fun and juicy for me, as well as offline. Like, what does that look like then when we meet in person? Do we have a retreat? Do we do this at like NFTLA or NFT NYC? So like that type of stuff is really exciting, the possibilities.
So good. So I'm going to not keep you any longer. I've got one more thing for you, because you and I both even know we need to close on for tonight.
Well, no, and by the way, I want to give a shout out, like Emperor G, like I love this. I'm even looking at your comments, like the right answer would be the Health is Wealth or Mental Fitness channel, the KOD Discord. Definitely. Like this is the type of stuff we want to hear. Kung Fu goes, most stuff can be used in better ways, limits the sky. Definitely. So yeah, thank you for all of those ideas, and tweet them to us, put in the Discord. Like we want to hear from you. We want to build with you.
That's so exciting. So last thing, and I'll give you both real quick. What's the last thing you'll tell everybody that's watching this on why they should definitely make sure 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, they're available for Twitter Spaces?
Jordana.
Oh, wow. Well, no pressure. For those of us who haven't had a chance to just tune into ourselves, we're going to be doing it together. It's not always an easy thing to just give ourselves this time and space, and we'll do it as a community. And we'll create a space, we'll talk and we'll connect. And we love talking with everyone. So like reading the comments is one thing, but allowing people as well to I want to hear your voice. We want to hear each other's voices and chat about what's going on. And then from there, we can tune into ourselves together, and we can have an opportunity to just take a big, long, comfortable.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Well, seriously, thank you both so much for making time. I know the whole community is excited about tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm pushing the show back tomorrow just to be there, because I need to experience the first one with you guys. Enjoy Thailand. Shira, thanks for getting dressed. I appreciate you both. And I guess
appreciate you. Love your energy. Yeah. This is so much fun. We're so excited for what's to come.
Thank you so much for this.
Everybody in the chat, real quick, we have a lot of content coming up this week. Check out the schedule. How you doing? So much going on in the community, guys. Want to touch on two things before we end the show tonight, right? It was a special edition, but if you haven't yet, have you gone and got your registration for the Knights Fantasy Football League? Guys, we just passed 100 registrants as of this morning. So excited. There's going to be so many divisions and leagues. It's going to be crazy. So excited. If you haven't yet, guys, you can go on YouTube, our channel, right there. It tells you there's a video that we've loaded to show you how to register and, convert to USDC, all the good stuff. Any of the details you need, you hit the Knights of Degen Twitter, in the Discord, get in there, register. Let's have a crazy football season. And I'm going to drop a spoiler for those of you that showed up tonight. Did you really think the Knights of Degen would go into football season and not cover college football? Check it out. you doing? You know we had to do some college football. Guys, the guys that are putting the show together, DiCaprio, Nelly, Spend My Dollar, Cerveza, bringing you that betting alpha, updates from every week's games. So excited to launch that with the Degen Huddle. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, Twitter Spaces. Let's get our mind right. And then right after that, jump on and watch a little bit of What the Sh and our boy Zook as well with a little bit of that pickle juice. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We're out.